Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I realized when I was editing this video that I didn't really do an introduction, so I thought I would pop in here and say hello. There has been so much going on in life lately, so I haven't really been uploading as many videos. But for today's video, I thought I would just put together a few clips of things that I have been working on around the garden and just kind of share a few updates here and there. There's definitely going to be a change in uploads and my YouTube schedule overall over the next few weeks. So I'll do another update probably in the next video. I do want to do a full garden tour as well, so that will be coming as well. But I really hope you enjoy today's video, which is just a few snippets of what I've been working on around the garden. I'd love to know what's happening in your garden right now, so definitely leave me a comment down below, and I hope you enjoy today's video. It is currently Friday and I am just about to go down to my local garden centre to drop off some more bouquets. So I've just finished arranging those. I did a harvest yesterday, which I did film a little bit of footage for. So I will rewind back to yesterday and probably just do like a bit of a voiceover for this video, chat you through what I'm harvesting, what I'm getting up to in the garden. I don't really have too much to do. I just have a few little jobs that I want to keep on top of and just kind of keep on top of all of the veggies and flowers in the garden. But yeah, I will take you around the garden today and probably on the weekend and just get some spring jobs done. So I thought firstly I would kind of chat you through some of my favourite foliage plants that I like to use in my bouquets that I've been kind of gravitating towards recently. The first one is bottlebrush foliage or callistemons. These grow so quickly. They are definitely a must-have in my opinion for clay soils. They grow really well in clay that can tend to be a bit waterlogged at some points. This plant has grown so well and I'm actually in the process of giving it a really harsh cut back. You can kind of see I've cut back a few of the middle branches. I need to come through and cut back a lot more, but you can see how vibrant the foliage is, the green color, and I like to harvest this just before it goes to flower. The little flower buds look so beautiful in arrangements and it lasts a long time in water as well. Most of these also have a little bit of a lemony citrus scent, which I really love, and they just really pop in a bouquet. So I always love adding this to my current bouquets. It's just really beautiful, soft, ferny foliage that lasts a long time. The next one that I've been using a lot is Westringia. This is Westringia fruticosa, which is also known as the coastal rosemary. This grows really well up along most of the east coast of Australia where it is native, and you'll find this along some really windswept areas along the coast. It can handle some really extreme both temperatures and wind. You can see here today actually was a very windy day harvesting these, but it is just such a hardy plant. This is about almost 3 years of growth, 2.5 years or so, and I have been cutting back very heavily on this plant. So it grows really quickly, it hedges up really nicely, and it has that kind of silvery bluey tinge to it that can really pop in a bouquet, particularly if you're using purple flowers. It goes really well with. And then I also have a small patch of Dusty Miller, and this has been really fun to work with in my bouquets. I really love using this with the bright purple stock flowers that I've been harvesting and the status as well. It again has that kind of different texture and that silvery color, which I find is kind of hard to come by in bouquets. So yeah, I've really been liking this and we'll definitely be planting a lot more of this in the coming years. Right, now I thought I would talk a little bit about succession planting in the flower farm and how I'm making my life a lot easier at the moment, particularly in third trimester. I'm not really interested in doing too much hardcore physical work in the garden. But you can see here, I've chatted a little bit about this in a video, but I am harvesting the stock flower that I have left in the flower farm. And because these are kind of a one and done flower, you can technically get branching stems, but I find they're just not long enough. So I usually see stock as just a one and done flower. And I have been just pulling the whole plant out to harvest this and then stripping the leaves and taking the roots out, just leaving them in the pathway to compost. And then that leaves a space in the ground. And I have been planting straw flowers after I have been harvesting all of this stock. So I don't have a full bed ready at once, but I can still really make the most of the space that I do have, even if there is a really small space. So I know this might seem a little harsh to take the whole plant out, but that's just what running a flower farm is all about. It's, I do need to make the products, sell the products, and then plant more. It is a very intensive way of growing, but I still want to make the most of the soil, not have it bare at all, and kind of just really keep on top of succession sowing. This is also just a little bit of a harvest that I did that day. I wanted to just get a few nice clips of some of the flowers. This is the color palette that I have been working with a lot lately. I've pretty much finished with the ranunculus now. These were the last bunches, but I have been working with lots of purples and pinks and whites, and it has been really nice to work with these colors and send them down to my local garden center. But coming back to talking about succession sowing, you can see here I have a tray of plants, and this is what I'm going to be planting in the spaces. So I am going to be filling in any spaces where I pulled up the stock plant and planting straw flower. If you would like me to do a full video on succession planting throughout an entire year and what that looks like for me, I am more than happy to do that. It's something I have kind of been thinking about, and I think might be useful to a lot of people starting out a flower farm, particularly if you're doing it like kind of as a side hustle or in your spare time. Just knowing what to plant and when has been really crucial for me to save a lot of energy and save space and be able to maintain the space that I actually have. So you can see here in all of those little spots I am planting straw flower. I've selected these specifically because they don't require intensive nutrients. So I'm trying to kind of succession sow according to the plant needs. Stock needs a little bit of that boost in nutrients, so that's why I have that planted first. These beds were amended before I planted the stock in there, and then I'm following that up with a less demanding plant, being the straw flowers. They still do require a good amount of nitrogen and nutrients, but they're not as hungry as stock in my opinion. And I can also just keep on top of nutrients by giving the straw flower plants foliar feeds with both Charlie carp and also worm tea. So that's how I'm going to kind of be keeping on top of the nutrients in this bed once all of the straw flowers come along. So interplanting these while I'm harvesting the stock really allows all of these smaller seedlings to get established, and they're nice and sheltered in these spots. And you can see here, this is actually what it looks like probably about 2 weeks later. I've pretty much pulled out all of the stock now and am finishing off planting the straw flower. they've established really well, and I think this kind of succession planting that I've done here is working really well and will hopefully give me a really great crop of straw flower. And I haven't had any spare beds or any kind of spare open soil, so that's been really helpful for me to also keep on top of weeds. And the other bed that I'm working on also with harvesting stock is over here, and this is where I'm interplanting this with feverfew cuttings. And feverfew, again, it definitely does better if you have, really high nutrient soils, but I do find that I can plant this in more of the marginal areas in my garden where there hasn't been a lot of amendments added, or I don't get the optimal amount of sun each day. Feverfew is just such a hardy plant, and this has also been working really well as a succession plant after I plant all of the stock. This would also work really well after ranunculus, and I have planted a few in the beds where I had ranunculus planted as kind of a quick crop to get straight in the ground and to have ready, because ranunculus finish up pretty quickly, and they've all finished for me, unfortunately, but I have really enjoyed those. But yeah, feverfew is a great plant to get in the ground after stock or your ranunculus or anemone crops. As I said, it can really handle a really wide range of soils, and I find that I don't have to add extra amendments to the soil for feverfew to grow really well. So again, it's another crop that is great to succession sow after a bit more of a hungry crop that you can plant straight afterwards, and is great to be able to start from cuttings, which is what I did, and it fits in really nicely in between all of these stock flowers, and yeah, it's just a little bit more sheltered from those. So I will continue to plant these in all of the spaces as I take the stock plants out, and hopefully have probably another half bed of feverfew growing in this area. And like I said, I took all of these from cuttings. I have a feverfew bed down the very back of the property. I've really done like nothing to amend this soil here, and you can see how healthy and vibrant all of the plants look. I did give it a good mulch, and when the flowers start to appear pretty soon, in about a week or so, I will give it a feed of Charlie Carp fish fertilizer. And to take some cuttings, I am just taking one of the older branches. This plant was a little bit funky in its flowers, but the cuttings I'm sure will be fine. This is just an older plant, and I have shown this before in a video, but here's just kind of a bit more of a sped up example of how to take feverfew cuttings. You just snip off the small side shoots and then plant them in some soil, and they will grow entire new plants. It's one of the easiest ways to grow plants, in my opinion, is taking cuttings, and I'm really making the most of plants that I don't have to start from seed and that take a long time to grow. These grow roots really quickly at the moment with the weather warming up, and I can have heaps of new plants pretty much for free, other than the soil that I am adding them to. But you can see here how many I got in a tray. I just used these trays to grow them, and these are the single white variety of feverfew. You can get a few different types, but I find these do really well, and they're definitely a must-have in my opinion for starting out a flower farm. Other than those few little jobs, I have been spending my time just each week harvesting some flowers. I've been doing some special orders here and there. The cats have always been inquisitive and want to be involved with whatever I'm doing, but my days at the moment are pretty slow, particularly the mornings. where I'm kind of coming into the later stages of pregnancy, and I am really slowing down and just trying to enjoy the garden that we have, and slowly adding new plants here and there, but more so just soaking it all up, which I'm loving, as is Annie. Obviously, she's keeping all of these seedlings nice and toasty, where they are germinating inside in the sun. Along with just enjoying the garden, one of those things is harvesting an abundance of snow peas. These are the Oregon sugar pod snow peas, I think that's what they're called, and they are absolutely delicious. We've also been harvesting some sprouting broccoli, which has been starting in the garden, and that has been so delicious. Growing broccoli is one of my favorite things to grow, and snow peas are also one of those things. We've had a really great harvest of snow peas. They're pretty much slowing down right now. I have a few containers full in the fridge. They do store for quite a while, so we've kind of just been eating these as a side to our dinners and just as snacks. They are so sweet and so crisp and crunchy, and they've just been such a delight to be able to come out in the garden. I don't have to bend down too much to harvest these, and it's just so nice to enjoy homegrown produce again, which we kind of had a bit of a lull for quite a while, and it's just now that we're getting back into all of this beautiful produce that we can harvest every day from the garden. I'm making sure to harvest the center of the sprouting broccoli, and then it sends up all of its side shoots. So this is what I've harvested in the middle, and then after this it sends up those side shoots and you get another flush of broccoli, as you can see in this clip here. Some of it's starting to go to flower, but that's okay, it's still completely edible, and it's really nice because we can just kind of harvest what we need and not harvest everything in one go. We can just get a few side shoots that we need for a dinner, and not have an overabundance and have to preserve and freeze a lot of it. We can just enjoy it all really nice and fresh from this cottage garden. This is kind of an overview of what the cottage garden is looking like at the moment. It's changed a little bit since I filmed this, so I will be doing an updated garden tour hopefully fairly soon. But yeah, there's always maintenance to be done, but luckily I can just kind of choose a small little job here and there to either do some weeding or some harvesting or picking some flowers. There's always something to work on in the garden, which I absolutely love. And these days I am not doing too much more of these kinds of jobs, but this was just the last little tidy up that I wanted to get done of this area. This is kind of just the wild area of the cottage garden, and all of this mustard greens had gone to seed and flower, and I like to let the flowers be for all of the pollinators, but I don't really want the seeds everywhere, so I was taking that out and then just doing a bit of a weed, and I'm cutting back pretty much all of this Canary Island lavender that I'm not really a big fan of, so I cut it down really harsh, and I do this every year and it comes back, but honestly if it doesn't come back I won't be disappointed, because I can just plant some tomatoes or some Cape gooseberries in this area, and that will probably be a little bit more productive in my opinion. And yeah, I just wanted to get rid of all of this because it was just a little bit too messy, so I'm giving it a very harsh cutback, as you can see. And all of this area where you can see there's just weeds on the ground, that's totally fine. They're going to break down over time because I'm going to come through and cover it all with cardboard, and then we recently got a load of mulch, so Scott will be adding mulch onto all of that area and tidy it all up, and then we'll probably plant some tomatoes or something in here. So this will change over the next few weeks that you'll see in future videos, but for now it's looking a little messy, but that's fine because the frogs and the wildlife really don't mind how it looks. And I'm also just tidying up some of these weeds around the pathways. I just want to have a nice clear area to be able to walk through as I enter the cottage garden, just in case there's any little snakes or anything like that that I don't particularly want to stand on. So I am just getting all of these weeds out and giving it a little bit of a tidy up, so that I can just clearly see the pathway here. And yeah, it's a lot safer for when I am waddling around in the garden in the morning and the afternoon drinking my cup of tea. I can just not have to worry about stepping over the plants or into any potential snakes in the area. And I'm also just tidying up this little area. The cabbages, I'll chat about in a different video. I've kind of had mixed results. Some of them are heading up, some aren't. We just got really hit with slugs when they were first planted, so they really didn't grow that well, but some of them are growing okay, which is fine. There are just a few little weeds in this area that I am pulling out, and I will be replacing all of these cabbages with tomatoes and capsicums over the next few weeks. I've got heaps of seedlings started, so yeah, be sure to look out for how this transitions as well. I do have a gorgeous rose in here. This is the David Austin Litchfield Angel, and it's almost starting to bloom, which is beautiful. I just love roses in general. They really make a cottage garden feel cottagey. I don't know. But yeah, I also have some self-seeded plants like some calendula and chard popping up, so I'll make sure to keep those and just weed around them, because that is free food that I didn't have to work for. Much like the start of the video, I didn't end up doing an outro either, so I am back to say thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully I can put together a garden tour very soon so you can see what the full garden is looking like in October. But thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone. Bye.